All right, so I got a question on a thread, in a thread on the interwebs. So I wanted to. I like this question, so I wanted to do a video on it, I guess. Let me put my old man glasses on here. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. Okay, so the question says, I'm curious of your thoughts on gang stalking. There are all these people on YouTube, ordinary nobodies living in remote areas, who claim they are being hit with energy weapons when they try to sleep, claiming physical damage to their bodies, yet the next video they seem fine. Then when they go somewhere, they claim people, usually some loser types, are agents, gang stalkers following them. It seems like delusional nonsense to me. Is it real or not? Yeah, no, that's good. Well, I don't know, man. That's a good one, but I do like the subject of gang stalking, and I think that gang stalking is real. But I mean, so let me roll it. Let me see. What am I doing? So that does sound crazy when I say that gang stalking is real, but so if I can find my rolling papers, fuck. All right, I'm gonna have to turn. Oh, there they are. Okay, so let me put a backdrop on here, and that way the screen will stay on. Okay, so but gang stalking, gang stalking, I believe is real, but my view is different than I think a lot of people. So I would like to explain, my thoughts on.
Okay.
Here we go. Wrong video. But I'm trying to get some backdrop here going, so I don't have a. Let's see. Download. Damn it. Fuck. I apologize. Alright. Okay, so there's our little backdrop here. Slow it down. And then rewind it. Alright, so my thoughts on gang stalking. I do believe that gang stalking is real, but I view it differently than a lot of people. And so I don't really know. I've never experienced the kind of gang stalking like the person describes in the comment. Well, yes and no. Okay. So this goes into a story, right, for me. So I was on the street for about 10 years. And when I was on the street, I had all kinds of experiences that are similar to what people describe as gang stalking. But I didn't. That was before there was a term gang stalking, and so that was what was funny to me about gang stalking, is because so there was no word that I could use to describe the shit that I was experiencing when I was on the street, And I lived on the street in a lot of different cities. One of them being Seattle, Washington, San Francisco, Eugene, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and just cities like that. I don't remember all of them. I don't want to go into listing all of them, but when I was on the street, I experienced what is now would be referred to as gang stalking. So when they talk about like voice to skull technology and these kind of weapons that are like where they use sound frequencies and stuff as weapons, I was experiencing that when I was on the street, or what that would be the only way to describe it. And on top of that, like if you were to see, this could be a very long, turn into a very long video, but even if you look at the idea of gang stalking from a more pragmatic view, where we're not talking about like the things described in the comment with where they use these, I don't know, high-tech weapons and shit, but just look at how society treats the homeless. I have a video from about 4 or 5 days ago where I just went walking down the street, and you see all these signs these that say stop panhandling, and the law is set up and designed to legally gang stalk homeless people, and because it's illegal to be homeless. Okay, so it's illegal to be homeless. Well, imagine if you were in the Helene, the Hurricane Helene, and you became displaced. You know how they talk about all these displaced Helene victims from Hurricane Helene? Well, say you became displaced and homeless, and you didn't really have any way to get back on your feet, and you ended up staying homeless for years. Well, it's illegal to be homeless. So if you ended up displaced from Hurricane Helene, and as a result you were on the street, you lived homeless for like 3 years, or say you ended up having to be homeless for like 3 or 4 years because of Hurricane Helene. Well, I guarantee you would be getting ticketed by the police for trespassing, vagrancy, loitering, illegal camping. It's illegal to be homeless. And this is something that is very hard for people to understand and believe, that this could be happening in their own country. It is literally illegal by law. It is illegal to be homeless or to be displaced. So all those Hurricane Helene victims that are displaced, that survived, that lived, any of those that can't get back on their feet because say they don't have any other family and they're alone and they've just lost everything, and then as a result they end up homeless for say 4 or 5 years, they're just existing as a homeless person, as a displaced homeless person, is illegal. And as a result, the cops within 4 or 5 years, a homeless person will have gone to jail for sleeping in the bushes, or something, and not just that, like all kinds of stuff. It's illegal to spare change and panhandle, so you can get arrested for all this stuff, and you will if you're homeless. So homelessness is gang stalking. But see, that's why I laugh at the whole idea of gang stalking. Is everybody, you got this kind of like, that's kind of a, it's one of those truther movement kind of things that's kind of generated a lot of buzz, I guess, over the years on YouTube and stuff, gang stalking. The funny thing is none of these people covering gang stalking has ever stopped to look at homelessness, and so this is what's interesting about gang stalking. So I started kind of, going down the rabbit hole on gang stalking, and then I started reflecting on my 10 years of being homeless and comparing it to these different descriptions of what gang stalking is. And it's like, these motherfuckers got no idea, compared to someone who's experienced what I have, And so I started going more down the gang stalking rabbit hole, and there is some compelling evidence. I mean, believe it or not, there is compelling evidence for gang stalking. And there were a couple of videos where it was just an audio interview with different people. Now, there's 2 interviews that I heard that were like hour-long interviews that were really compelling. One of them was a woman who used to be like, or maybe she even still was during that interview, was really high-ranking military. She was a very high-ranking military official who was a whistleblower. And of course it could be fake, right? It could just be all, but if it was fake and she was just an actor, she did like a Academy Award winning job. Like it was very convincing. And she explained, because of her, high ranking level in the military as a whistleblower, she explained that the gang stalking operation, that it's a military, government military, like CIA, a black ops, operation. And she described it, and she talked about how, like in Seattle, Washington, was one of the places where they first started rolling out the gang stalking. It was more of an experiment. Like they were openly experimenting with gang stalking, and they were using all these different tactics on the homeless in Seattle, Washington. And this was around the time I was homeless in Seattle, and I listened to the whole thing. It's hard to find now because what happened with YouTube and how they scrubbed a lot of the internet and stuff. If I can, what I'll do is I'll look around and see if I can find it. I did come across it about 3 years ago on BitChute when I was trying to look up TrueStream Media's channel in BitChute search engine, and so I might be able to play around with. Hold on. I might be able to play around with BitChute's search engine, using the words TrueStream or whatever. And if I come across that, I will post it on my channel. Unless, I don't know if YouTube will let me post a link in the comments, because if YouTube will let me do that, then I can just post it directly to the person who made the comment. If I can't, I'll post it to my channel. There was that video, and then there was another fucking video that was an interview with another whistleblower, and it was also in Seattle, which was crazy, and it was also around the same time. And he accidentally got involved in gang stalking operations because he worked for a high like a security operation, like a security, what do they call that? Not a corporation, but I guess it was kind of like a corporation that was based in like security. But see, they did security for like famous people and politicians. It was a really big security unit thing, right? And he started at the lower levels at his job, but then he worked his way up. And as he worked his way up, then that's when he started discovering the gang stalking shit that the security firm was doing. And they were contracted by the government, like it was a black ops contract. And once he got exposed to that, that's when he I guess according to him, he had a problem with it. After a while, he saw that it was wrong, but it was the same thing. Like they were rolling out these gang stalking operations on the homeless. Now this is the early stages of the gang stalking rollout. This is when they first started doing it. Now going back to the interview with the military, the woman who was in the military, who is a whistleblower, she claims, and this is all believable to me because of just what I have seen in my 10 years living on the street. Dude, the amount of insane shit that I have seen, I would say yes, gang stalking is real. But that doesn't mean that whatever these people are saying, that sounds wacky is real or not. But I do believe gang stalking itself is real, yeah. And like I said, one way, do some investigation into homelessness, and you'll see that even at the most pragmatic and practical level, yes, gang stalking is real. Like that it's illegal to be homeless in the United States of America. That is a form of gang stalking of homeless people. So I would say yes. Now, as far as these weapons that or whatever that these people are describing, how they can't sleep and they're being hit with invisible laser beams and shit, that I don't know. And I mean, but I've seen so much crazy shit in my life, like it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know. But if you were to ask me, I say that yes, the unconstitutional policing of U.S. homeless citizens is definitely gang stalking. That is gang stalking. And if it's happening to homeless people, they're gang stalking other people too, in a similar way that they gang stalk the homeless. But as far as using invisible laser beams, from Elon Musk satellites and shit, I don't know how wacky it goes. I don't know. But I wanted to say, yeah. Oh, so this military woman, right? She was a high-ranking military official, and also got exposed to gang stalking and everything because it's a military operation involving black ops and CIA and shit. And she's a whistleblower. Well, what she says, which I believe this too, is that gang stalking no longer targets individuals. Gang stalking is a blanket operation that is run like a blanket operation. It doesn't target individuals anymore. Everyone is targeted. It's a blanket. So, I mean, think of it, an analogy would be like, all these 5G towers everywhere. And all this kind of stuff, like the 5G towers and all these other things that are everywhere, all over the place, and all this interconnected stuff. It's not to specifically target individuals. It's a blanket operation and we're all being gang stalked in some form. And the more, like, if there's the wacky kind of gang stalking side of it, but then there's also the other side where it's practical and stuff, where it explains how, okay, like for example, that the education system is a indoctrination, right? It's just indoctrination. It's pretty much the case. Like, education systems are used to dox people into particular categories, and so they can kind of figure out people at a very young age, and so they can kind of determine what personality types people are at a young age, and the education system is used to kind of like put young people into categories, and so they can figure out who is going to be a person, who of these children in school or youth in school are going to end up being, rebels that are going to rebel against the system, whereas which youth are going to be, comply with the system and stuff. I don't have proof, but I'm pretty sure that part of the education system is designed like that, to kind of like filter out like who's who are going to be problem people, who are going to be people that will go along with the system. And so since I believe that the education system is designed like that, I think part of the reason for the design is so that they can target those youth who are going to potentially become like anti-establishment type people, so they can target them, and kind of, make sure that they don't succeed in some kind of anti-establishment revolution or something. Yeah, I think that they do that. Yeah, and But again, as far as like, you know, Jew laser beams from Elon Musk satellites, you know, and targeting, it's just I believe it's just a blanket operation, and that everyone is just generally being targeted all day. That's why the media is all fucked up. That's why all mainstream media is just like brainwashed garbage. The whole thing is just one big gang stalking operation, and it's not targeting any one individual. It's targeting all the useless eaters, and if you're not part of the big club, then you're just another useless eater. And so the blanket targeting might just be to keep you down, keep the people in general from overthrowing, you know, the government or whatever, the master class or whatever you want to call them, the Freemasons or whoever it is. They keep the boot firmly planted on the necks of the people for sure. And whether it's just through the day-to-day grind of, you know, the way the whole system is set up to just keep you trapped in the matrix, or if it's as extreme as laser beams shooting through your microwave while you're trying to sleep. I don't know all that. But gang stalking being real, I would say yeah. Especially like, again, when I reflect on my experience being homeless for 10 years, bro, if that's not gang stalking, that I was being gang stalked for 10 years, I don't know what the fuck gang stalking even is, you know? And so I would say, yeah, I'd say all of us are. We just all experience it differently depending on, you know, our personality types. And the whole education system is designed to, you know, kind of pinpoint what each individual young person's personality type is. And then they you know, adapt and respond accordingly to how people are going to, you know, respond to the Matrix, I guess, or whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist a little bit on that one. But the examples given in the comment, I can't speak on that one way or the other. And that does sound, yeah, I think there's people that even though they're being gang stalked, they, you know what, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I can only give my speculation. And based off of what I've seen in a general way, yes, gang stalking is real. As far as the specifics of it, shit, who am I to say? All I know is what I've experienced. And but in the meantime, I will try to find that video, that one might still be circulating, and that would be the interview with the woman in the military, the whistleblower, who is a high-ranking official in the military that was exposing it in an interview. If I can find it, I'll try to post it to your comment. If I can't post it to your comment, then I'll just upload it onto my channel. But anyways, those are for what it's worth, there's my 2 cents on that.